a simple man. If I play a good game, then I'm gonna finish it because I like it so much. If I hate it, I'm still gonna finish it so I can tell people online that it sucks. But every now and then I come across some games that make me feel nothing, they bore the hell out of me. Or at times, different circumstances make me not finish them. Which is why in this video, I want to talk about those video games that I played a good chunk of, but never got to the end of them. Were they really that bad, or was there something else? Well, stick around and find out.
Saints Row 4 is perhaps the most shameless drop I've ever done on a game, cause take in mind, I actually like Saints Row. I replayed 2 a few times because it's that good, and even though the game is controversial among fans, I still had fun with Saints Row 3, and 4 was no exception. My playthrough on it was even more special because on my first run, I remember playing most of the game alongside a friend in co-op mode, and yeah, no shit, almost any game is better with friends. It was so much fun using our superpowers to explore the map, complete missions, and cause mayhem. But just as we got to the final mission, we just stopped. We didn't continue the game at all, and I don't know why. I want to believe one of us lost their PlayStation Plus membership to play online, and while we were waiting to get it again, we just moved to different games. But even then, I'm not even sure about that. And see, there is a huge irony behind all of this, because later down the road, I played the Gads Out of Hell DLC and finished it, so like, what happened? Why didn't we return to finish 4? We were literally on the spot to start the final mission, so why didn't we do it? I wish I had a clear answer, but for this game, there is not. Has it ever happened to you that you get motivated to play a game in a franchise you've always been interested in, but then said game leaves you a bad impression on the rest of the series? Well, that's kinda Tales of Arise for me. I played it, I got very far, I dropped it, and since then I have not shown any interest in coming back to it or play any other Tales game. And it's so weird because when I look at it, I don't find anything terrible about the game. The graphics are nice, the environments are pretty, the character designs are awesome, and I'm not just talking about the hot lady knight. I especially like the character interactions, it made every party member so likable, and that's something I really appreciate about any JRPG. And from what I remember, the game had some decent world building. Tales of Arise had the perfect recipe to make me fall in love with it. But it just didn't deliver at all. I think it is because of the combat, because yeah, while it looks cool, it wasn't exactly satisfying to play. For me, Tales of Arise lacked that oomph that makes me enjoy action games. It also didn't help that many enemies felt like they took forever to die, and even if you clear a room, the next one will be filled with even more enemies that will take a lot of your time. I also remember that this game will constantly starve you for money and especially healing items, so most of the time, I just found myself trying to avoid battles. When I compared Tales of Arise's combat to something similar like, say, Final Fantasy VII's remake, I'll honestly just choose the latter, cause it is faster, more fun, but still remains decently challenging. When I got to the third act of the game and certain spoilers happened, you know which ones I'm talking about, that was the point where I said, alright, I'm done, I'm taking a rest from this game. And to this day, I haven't come back at all. This game left me exhausted and it just wasn't holding my interest anymore. And apparently, I dropped it at a perfect time, cause I've been told the final act of the game is filled with even more awful pacing, annoying enemies, and takes forever to beat. It sucks because I genuinely thought Tales of Arise will be a game that will become special to me. They want to make me a Tales fan. And sure, I have no doubt that there's better Tales games out there. But as things stand now, this remains as that one game that failed me. But at least it still gave me something really good in the end. Here's two games that share a similar story. I dropped them, not once, not twice, but a lot of times, but the most curious part is, I actually beat them. Persona 4 Golden and Pokemon Ultra Moon. These games took me what felt forever to beat. I will play them and then drop them for a few months, then return to them, advance, drop them again, return, continue, drop, and so on until I said, okay, fuck it, I'm just beating them once and for all. And at the end of it all, I can confidently say, Oh, it was not worth it. Like, at all. I barely enjoyed these games. Persona 4 was constantly dropping my interest because, first, I hated how stretched out and boring the dungeons were, and second, I honestly didn't like most of the characters, except Adachi and Kanji, they are peak! I will drop Persona 4 all the time, but in the end I pushed through and even got the true ending. But I wasn't very satisfied, if I am honest. I feel I forced myself to beat the game cause I borrowed my friend's PS Vita and I had to return it to him, so I felt this sense of obligation to beat the game. Pokémon Ultra Moon was a bit more personal for me cause it was like, well shit, I already wasted my money on mediocrity, might as well see it through the end. And my experience with this game was so miserable. I will drop it all the time because I was so bored. I will return because there was this part of me saying, maybe it'll get better, maybe something great will happen. Also, you already wasted your money, you moron. But no, it was just Pokémon Sun and Moon all over again, but somehow even worse. And its only saving grace, which was that Team Rainbow Rocket Arc, did not do enough to redeem this game. It took me over a year to beat Ultra Moon, and all I can say about it is, I won back the time I wasted on this game, it's the worst Pokémon game in existence for me. And in a world where Pokémon Sword and Shield exist, that's pretty sad, honestly. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, have you ever played a game that you really enjoy, you want to beat it, but you can just never get to the end of it? Well, that's Ring Fit Adventure for me. I love exercising, and this game was a godsend, especially during the pandemic, which is when I played it the most. Almost every single day, without fail, I will dedicate 1 or 2 hours to it. This game has an adventure mode that obviously has a story going on. But even after a few months, I never got to the end of it. Ring Fit Adventure is just so damn long. Like, yeah, I know that with exercise you have to make a habit out of it. But even as someone who loves to work out almost every day, I never saw the credits of the game. In fact, I don't even know if an ending actually exists. So why did I drop it? Well, 2 things. First, after a few months of just doing the same over and over and over and over and over and seeing everything the game had to offer, it just wasn't fun anymore. And second, gyms opened again and I returned to them, so Ring Fit fell off my radar. Even so, I can still call this a fantastic game that I completely recommend if you wanna work out, but you're not a fan of gyms. Just don't expect to see the ending on the short term. Oh god, I feel a lot of people are gonna hate me for this one. Final Fantasy is a franchise that overall has given me a damn good impression. 10 was a masterpiece, I really love 15 despite its flaws, 7 became one of my favorite JRPGs of all time, 6 was incredible too, and 12... Actually, I don't remember a single thing from this game, other than Balthier being the best character ever made. Thing is, even though this franchise is far from perfect, I usually end up more than satisfied after playing any of its games. However, that was not the case with Final Fantasy IX, and it sucks. I really like the setting. 9 has this unique whimsical vibe to it that I find so appealing, and the character designs in particular are a marvel to look at. But here's the thing. When I played Final Fantasy IX, I found it so slow and boring, and yes, I know that is the case with many JRPGs, but this game in particular barely had anything to grab my attention. Cause hey, 15 had the relationship of the boy band to make me care, 6 had Kefka to entertain me whenever he was on screen, and 7's fantastic bombing mission hooked me from the beginning. 9 didn't have much in the story, and since I found the combat system extremely slow, I just dropped it. It's sad because I wish I could like this game more, I wish I could give it another chance, but I can never seem to muster the motivation to try it again. If anything, I can say I genuinely love the likes of Bibi, Steiner and Freya. They were the sole reason I could stand 15 hours of this game. But yeah, aside from that, 9 will remain as that one Final Fantasy I couldn't get into. That could change in the future, but who knows really. Now, has it ever happened to you that you play this game you really like, but there is one particular aspect so bad it makes you drop it? That's where I introduce you to Sonic Unleashed, there is something in this game that aggravated me so much I stopped playing it entirely, and that is...
No, not the Warhawk. The frame rate! The frame rate!
Yeah, no, despite what the internet may tell me to do, I actually enjoy the Warhawk stages to some degree. In fact, I enjoy Sonic Unleashed in general. I played the Wii version many years ago and I recall having a blast with it. Sure, I know the Wii version is an entirely different being from the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions of the game, but when I played the latter, oh my god. The game was bigger and harder, sure, but what surprised me the most is how terrible the frame rate was! It's abysmal! For those who have been following this channel for some time, you know that frame rate usually doesn't tend to bother me that much. I don't need every game to be 60 FPS, and I won't throw a tantrum if the frame rate drops from time to time. But Sonic Unleashed on PS3 was so bad, and I mean so bad that I just couldn't take it! The game felt near unplayable in that state, and not gonna lie, the performance made my head hurt. I would feel nauseous just by trying to play this game. And yeah, it doesn't help that Sonic Unleashed is already a pretty tough game to beat. So combine that with one of the worst performances I've seen in a game, I dropped the game entirely.
There's also another funny reason. Back in 2015, 2016, I used to work at a video game store and we could borrow some games from time to time to play ourselves. But since we only had one copy of Sonic Unleashed on the PS3 and the time limit my manager gave me to finish the game expired, I just had to give it back.
Even so, I never really did an effort to borrow it again or even get my own copy to finish it. However, it is on my plans to give Sonic Unleashed another chance in the future, and with people speaking marvels of how good it runs on the Xbox Series X, maybe that day will come soon enough. Now I just need to borrow someone's Xbox Series X. Now, I saved the best for last. I purposely put this game on the thumbnail because I knew some people would be upset by me dropping it. Undertale.
Can I explain myself at least? No.
You might expect me to say, Undertale sucks, I hate this game, and I wish a plague upon Toby Fox. But no, actually, it's the total opposite. When Undertale released all the way back in 2015, I downloaded it and honestly enjoyed my time with it. I was blown away with how different and quirky it was. The combat system was like nothing I've ever seen before, and from what little I played, I had a wonderful time. Even if my time with this game was short-lived, it managed to leave a mark on me. I recall this one time when I first played the game and I killed Toriel because I didn't know you could spare her. Then I felt bad, restarted my file, and Flowey called me out telling me that he knew what I did. That scene alone shocked me and it instantly made me love Undertale. I continued to play the game and a huge part of my enjoyment was going in completely blind, not knowing what will happen next. But then, something happened. Have you ever known that one person online who is extremely annoying and is very attached to you for no reason at all? I used to have someone like that around that time, and when everyone and their mothers were playing Undertale, he was also doing it and rushing through it. But thing is, he could not keep his experience to himself, and instead decided to go to me and tell me every single thing that happened to him. He will be like, "Oh, Luis, this character will show up in a bit, you're gonna love them. I can't wait until you get to this part, it's amazing because this and this happens. Oh, the battle against Mettaton will blow you away." Even after I kindly asked him to stop, he just continued doing it until he sent me a photo of the final boss, and that basically broke my spirit to play Undertale. The magic of this game was not knowing what to expect, but now someone told me the biggest surprises, and now I don't wanna play this game anymore. It also didn't help that throughout the years, Undertale became a cultural phenomenon, so spoilers were posted everywhere, pretty much confirming everything that annoying person told me. So where is he now? I don't know. And quite frankly, I don't care. I unfriended him after he spoiled me the game, and then he disappeared from social media. It's been 8 years since that event, and I would like to give Undertale another chance. I'm a huge fan of Deltarune chapters 1 and 2, so who knows? Maybe after all this time, Undertale will still be able to give me a fun time and tons of surprises. But maybe not on the same capacity it could have back in 2015. Undertale is a game I'll forever remember dropping, not because I hated it or anything, but because someone stripped me away from a magical experience.
Now, it's your turn. Is there a game you have dropped? Why did you do it? Would you love to return to it someday? Please, let me know in the comments because I would really like to see you share your stories. So in the meantime, thank you so much for your time, I really hope you enjoyed the video, and please, if you could really support the channel with anything, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, or Patreon, anything you can do will help me a lot. This is a very solid cry for help. Have a wonderful day and take care. I'll see you next time.